Great day, everyone! Welcome in today's episode. It's another day for us to learn about Introduction to World Religions and Belief System. I am your teacher, Rika, your partner in the discovery of new knowledge. Come and study Iwrbs in your own pace and time. To start with, get your self-learning module week 3 for the 4th quarter and prepare your ball pen and paper because today is going to be filled with fun and learning. Are you ready? Are you all set? Alright, let's begin!
India is considered as the land of complexity and diversity in terms of people, culture, customs, practices, and traditions, with around 15% of the population practicing the Hindu faith. Hinduism is considered as the third largest religion in the world. Hindu adherents in India comprise the major volume of the population adhering to the religion, comprising 80%. Other Asian countries with considerable Hindu faith include Nepal with 23 million, Bangladesh with 15 million, and Indonesia with 3.9 million, especially in Bali. There are also substantial number of Hindus in Bhutan, Fiji, Guyana, Mauritius, Sri Lanka, Suriname, and Trinidad and Tobago. Unlike Christianity or Islam, Hinduism was never a missionary religion. Hindu belief may have flourished around the 3rd millennium BCE. It had no one identifiable founder. The term Hindu originated from the Persian word Hindu and in Sanskrit Sindhu, which means river. The name was accorded in 19th century to describe the wide assemblage of belief systems in India. It was originally known as Arya Dharma or the Aryan Way. This lesson will enable you to study the brief history, core teachings, fundamental beliefs, practices, and related issues of Hinduism as early as 300 BCE. It flourished in the ancient Punjab city of Harappa and in Mohenjo-daro along the Indus. The starting point of Hinduism may have originated from the customs of the early people of the Indus Valley around 2500 BCE to 1500 BCE. Elements of Hinduism may have taken shape from the practices of pre-Aryan people who were already civilized city dwellers between 1750 BCE and 1200 BCE. The Aryan conquerors transferred to the Indus Valley, and with them are their own set of beliefs, and that eventually interweave the religion of the natives. Classical Hinduism resulted in the blending of their faiths. Aryans brought with them their set of beliefs based on the oral texts known as Vedas. Vedas that are authentically pre-Aryan or known as Aryan influence. However, definite assumptions about the Aryan religion can be stated. They also brought with them a polytheistic religion, which means they believe in gods and goddesses. Their principal form of worship to the Aryan gods is in the form of sacrifice. Followers of Hinduism, varying their set of beliefs and practices, including reverence in particular God. Presently, there are 4 principal denominations within their faith. These are: 1st, Shaivism; 2nd, Shaktism; 3rd, Vaishnavism; and 4th, Ismartism. Let's know them one by one. First, Shaivism. This is a belief which they call Shiva as their god, who values discipline and philosophy. They worship more in temples and practice yoga. While for Shaktism, Shakti is the name of their supreme god, the divine mother that uses chants, magic or spells, and yoga to summon cosmic forces. And for Vaishnavism, Vishnu is the name of their god. They have multitudes of saints, temples, and sacred texts. Lastly, the followers of Hinduism is also categorized under Ismartism. where the people or the followers of Hinduism praises and glorify these deities, namely Ganesha, Shiva, Shakti, Vishnu, Surya, and Skanda. These are the god of fire, god of thunder and rain, god of water, lord of the winds, the father of the sky, and the mother of the earth. That is Ismartism. Now, what can you say about the four subdivisions or four principles denomination within the faith of Hinduism? Do you have any idea that is running in your mind? Feel free to raise your hand. So as you can see, Indians are followers of Hinduism, worship different gods and goddesses. Some of them are practicing different types of rituals just to express their faith, like praying or meditating through yoga, crafting some spells, chants, magic, and some of them also sacrifice their life by staying in a temple or mountain to attain self-actualization. And now let's proceed to the sacred scriptures of Hinduism that have been principally passed down throughout generation by the way of dance, drama, music, and recitation. By the way, Sanskrit has been the language of their earliest writings. The sacred writings of the Hindus are categorized into two classes, the Shruti and Smriti. Shruti literally means that which is heard. They are regarded as eternal truths that were passed orally until the beginning of the present age, wherein there came the need to write them down. The four collection of texts of the Vedas form the Shruti and are considered primary sources and the most authoritative texts of the Hindu faith. Other writings that form part of Shruti include the Samhitas, Brahmanas, Upanishads, and a few sutras. The four basic Vedic books, which are sacrificial hymns compiled from an earlier oral tradition, are composed of Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, and Atharva Veda. The word Veda means knowledge or secret lore. It is the earliest known Sanskrit literature from the Brahmanic period and also regarded as the oldest scripture of Hinduism, that is Vedas. From the Greek epic or book Mahabharata, Brahma was said to have created the Vedas. Among the four Vedas, it was stated here that the Rig Veda is the most important and oldest book that dates back to around 1500 BCE to 1200 BCE, apart from being the oldest work of literature in an Indo-European language. It is also the oldest living religious literature of the world. This book is a collection of over 1,000 hymns and more than 1,000 verses dedicated to the Aryan pantheon of gods. It was also stated here in Mahabharata that the second book is the Yajurveda, or the knowledge of rites. This composed between 1200 BCE to 1000 BCE, and this book is a compilation of materials recited during rituals and sacrifices to the deities. The third book is the Samaveda, or the knowledge of chants. Dating back almost the same time as the Yajurveda, this book is a collection of verses from the basic hymns recited by the priests during sacrifices. Lastly, the fourth book is Atharva Veda, or knowledge given by the sage Atharva, that date back around 1500 BCE to 1000 BCE. This book contains rituals used in homes and popular prayers to gods, seldom used in solemn ceremonies unlike other three Vedas. The Atharva Veda contains numerous spells and incantations for medicinal purposes and magical aids to victory in battle, among others. That is how powerful the Atharva Veda is. The Hindu faith offers its followers numerous paths to salvation. They may acquire liberation from the cycle of life by means of devotion to one or more gods. Gods and goddesses can be worshipped at their temples, and the devotees can pray and offer sacrifices so that they can gain favor from deities and assist them in their struggle for salvation in temples. Bhakti stands for the soul's longing for and clinging to God. In temples, Hindus offers milk and honey and offering flames and even reciting chants and music to grant their wishes. While worship may be undertaken any day of the week, Thursday is considered to be the most opportune day. Hindus celebrates a number of festivals that are based on the Hindu calendar, often related to seasonal changes. Main festivals include Holi, Diwali, and Dussehra. The Diwali or Festival of Lights is India's biggest and most important holiday of the year, held in October or November, that is similar to the Christmas holiday of the Christians. Indians light outside their homes to symbolize the inner light that safeguards the people from evil forces. Meanwhile, there are also many local and regional festivals such as harvest and deity festivals, marked colorful processions and performances. Table below lists down several festivals celebrated by Hindus in a year. For the month of January, we have the festival called Lori. They celebrated this in Punjab, for this marks the end of the winter. For February, we have Pongal Sankranti, a feast held in South India to celebrate the rice harvest. March, we have Holi, the national celebration of the spring and the new year of Indians. We also have Shivarati, a national honoring of Shiva. Worshippers fast during the day and an all-night vigil is held at the Shiva temples. For April, we have Sri Vaisnavash, an honoring of Vishnu and his consort Sri, celebrated in Madras at the beginning of the hot season. Images of Vishnu are taken from the temples to the seashore. And for the month of May, we have Rath Yatra. This is the birthday of Lord Jagannath, celebrated with chariots in Puri. August, we have Janmashtami. This is the birthday of Krishna, which is celebrated nationally. Worshippers fast during the day and break the fast in the evening, following a special puja or worship. For the month of September, we have two festivals, namely Dussehra. This is a celebration of the triumph of good over evil in honor of Durga or Rama. And we also have Ganesh Chaturthi, known as the birthday of Ganesh, which is celebrated nationally throughout India. The huge images of Ganesh are paraded. And last but not the least, we have October, wherein they celebrate Diwali. This is a national celebration in honor of Rama and his consort. Pilgrimages are also undertaken by Hindus throughout India to visit the sacred shrines of their deities. These include rivers, mountains, and temples. The city of Varanasi, also called Benares, is the most important and sacred pilgrimage site in India and is considered as the home of Shiva. Many people come and live in the city until they die to manifest their exceptional devotion. Other popular sites include Kurukshetra, the place of the Great War in Mahabharata, Ayodhya, the old capital of Rama, and Mathura, which is Krishna's birthplace. Central to Hinduism is the Brahman, who is the ultimate reality, one and undivided. The Brahman is often seen in three forms or functions called the Trimurti. These are creation, preservation, and destruction. These functions are expressed in God forms, namely Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the preserver, and Shiva, the destroyer. Though widely respected and recognized as the creator of the universe, Brahma received the least attention among the Trimurti. In fact, only 2 temples are dedicated to him in India, and he has no cult of devotees. He is not worshipped in the same way as the other gods because he has done his task and will not come into his own until the next creation of the universe. When depicted, Brahma has 4 heads and 8 hands, his chief consort in Saraswati, the goddess of science and wisdom. Brahma's vehicle is a swan or goose, which symbolizes knowledge, known as a god of love, benevolence, and forgiveness. Vishnu's primary concern is humanity itself. As the preserver, the creation is withdrawn to a seed whenever he sleeps but rises again as he wakes up. He is worshipped in various forms of his incarnations or avatars. Based on mythology, Vishnu has appeared on earth in 9 different forms and will come a 10th time to end the present era or kalpa, to bring the world to an end and then recreate it. These manifestations of Vishnu are intended to help humanity with his preserving, restoring, and protecting powers. In Hindu sacred writings, Vishnu is also depicted as having 4 arms and with a dark complexion. His most popular manifestation is Krishna, who is blue, the color of infinity, and plays the flute. Vishnu's consort is Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, who is seated on a lotus between 2 elephants with their trunks raised above her. Both Vishnu and Lakshmi ride the eagle mount or kite Garuda, the symbol of the sky and the sun. The snake in Garuda's claws represents water. As the destroyer and the god of death, destruction, and disease, Shiva is the third in the Trimurti. His functions are many. He is also god of dance, vegetable, animal, and human reproduction. In Hindu belief, death is prelude to birth. Hence, the god of death is also the god often revered through the lingam, the male energy surrounded by the yoni, the female source of energy. In mythology, he is described as having a constantly erect penis and sexually alert at all times. From the Upanishads, one may find the 3 principal and interrelated doctrines within the Indian religion. First, every soul dies and is reborn in a new form. This cycle is called samsara. Second, one deeds have an effect in his or her future life. Lastly, one may escape the weary round of death and birth. Within every human is an eternal soul or Atman that is being reborn many times and in various forms in accordance to the moral law of karma. A soul may escape the cycle of rebirth to attain the moksha. This particular liberation can be achieved through the 4 yogas that involve a system of practices aimed at producing spiritual enlightenment. The word yoga is derived from the root word yuj, which translates as to yoke or to join. The philosophy of yoga was developed by the sage Patanjali, who lived in the 2nd century BCE. He is considered as the father of modern yoga, as he codified the teachings of yoga in his Yoga Sutra. The following lists down the 4 yogas with their corresponding practices. First, the Jnana Yoga or the way of knowledge. This is the path of knowledge, wisdom, introspection, and contemplation. Second, the Bhakti Yoga, the way of love, or known as the way of love, the path of devotion, emotion, love, compassion, and service to God and others. Third, the Karma Yoga, or the way of work. This is a path of action, service to others, mindfulness, and remembering the levels of our being while fulfilling. The fourth one is the Raha Yoga, or the way of meditation. This is the path of meditation that directly deals with the encountering and transcending thoughts of the mind. For all Hindus, there are 4 desirable goals of life. These are Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Dharma, which means appropriate behavior. Second, the pursuit of legitimately worldly success. Third, the pursuit of legitimate pleasure. And the last one is release from rebirth. The terminal stage involves the liberation from the bands of flesh and the limitations of death-bound life. By faithfully performing duties in social and family life, this involves one person pursuing artha, or appropriate worldly prosperity and material well-being. A person must also rightfully satisfy the demand for enjoyment and pleasure, or kama. In all goals, one must be guided by righteousness or dharma toward achieving moksha. A person who achieves moksha while in life is a free soul, or jivan mukta. This is how Indians practices their beliefs and teachings in Hinduism. Hinduism continues to be the religion of almost 80% of the Indian people. While mostly comprised of Hindu followers, India is a secular state that remains neutral in issues involving religious convictions and practices of its citizenry. All Indians are allowed to follow and propagate their own set of beliefs. Being a country with the largest adherents of Hinduism, India is presently facing numerous challenges that are religious in character. First, we have Hinduism and women. Even though the Manusmriti or the laws of Manu states that women should be honored in Hindu society, women have always been considered inferior to men in almost all aspects of life. A woman's life revolves around the man in her life, to be taken care of her by her father in childhood, by her husband in married life, and by her sons upon old age. Women are relegated to performing household chores and are expected to become loyal to their husbands even after their husbands die. In traditional society, women are expected to perform sati or suti, wherein widowed women are expected to jump on the funeral pyre of their husbands to prove their loyalty and help save the soul of their husbands in the afterlife. In spite of the fact that sati was already demolished by the British in India, there are still cases of sati being reported in modern times. Second is poverty. Poverty, the swiftly industrialization in India is mainly affecting village economy and the rural way of life. While family pattern may have been disrupted by the outside forces, tradition still continues in the local setting as evidenced by the fatalistic nature of village people. Thus, mentally remains to be strong despite a passage of laws prohibiting discrimination. Poverty continues to persist as one of the major problems of the country. In 2012, the government stated that more than 20% of the population is subsisting below the official limit of poverty. Tracing back the rich history of India, it has been regularly hit by diseases in the early 20th century, killing millions of individuals each time. And the third one is caste system. The caste system is one major distinguishing feature of Indian culture that still affects modern-day society. A system of social class composed of the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. Opportunities are based upon family origin. One person belongs to a caste by being born to parents of that particular caste. However, the most deplorable group are those persons that do not belong to any group. Those that are despairingly called as outcasts or untouchables, also known as Dalits. They are highly ostracized in society. They perform the most menial of jobs such as street sweepers, latrine cleaners, and handlers of the dead. These jobs deserve the lowest wages and have the most appalling living conditions. Despite the negative backlash on the caste system, India has been receptive in enacting legislation aimed at eradicating inherent social evils. For example, untouchability has been banned and the caste system is no longer rigid. The Indian constitution has provided that it is unlawful to discriminate against lower castes. Lower castes members are now being elected to key government positions including Kocheri R. Narayanan, a Dalit who became the 10th president of India from 1997 to 2002. That is the caste system. Here are now the key points of our lesson. First, Hinduism is oftentimes considered as the oldest and most complex religions. Second, Hinduism has no single founder, no specific theological system, and no single sacred text. Third, the concept of Dharma is closely linked to the Hindu religion. It is the power that preserves the society. Fourth, the sacred writings of Hinduism are categorized into Shruti and Smriti. Shruti literally means that which is heard and are regarded as eternal truths that were passed orally. The 4 books of Vedas are part of the Shruti. Meanwhile, the Smriti literally means that which has been remembered, and these are writings that serve to reinforce Shruti. Fifth, fundamental to Hindu teachings are the doctrines of samsara and karma. Samsara, which means the cycle of rebirth, and karma, or the universal law of causality. Apart from recognizing a vast assortment of Indian deities. 6.1. The Hindus' Trimurti or Trinity, which are the Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, integral to Hindu worship, are the sacred images and temples believed to house and represent the deities. this lesson, you have learned what Hinduism is all about and how the world's oldest religion is. I hope you have learned something, and always remember the important details of our lesson. If you forget, you may watch the video again until you master it. Reminded to accomplish all the tasks in your self-learning module. Keep safe and see you in our next learning session.